Don't wait until the store shelves start looking empty to realize you prepared the wrong way. The biggest danger isn't running out of food. It's running out of the foods that matter most. Over the next few minutes, we'll show you 12 foods that every emergency food stockpile should have before the end of July. If you fill these gaps today, you'll be in a much stronger position if something unexpected happens. And make sure you stay until the end of the video, because the number one item isn't just the longest-lasting food on the list. It's also the foundation of nearly every professional emergency food stockpile in the world. 12. Honey. In 2025, honey prices in the United States rose by nearly 30% compared to the previous year, while production continued to decline because of extreme weather and shrinking bee populations. It was a reminder that even foods that seem like they'll always be available can become more expensive over time. But what makes honey one of the best foods to stockpile isn't its price, it's time. Inside a more than 3,000-year-old ancient Egyptian tomb, archaeologists discovered jars of honey that were still in usable condition. That's not a legend. It's proof of this food's remarkable ability to last. Its extremely low moisture content, very high sugar concentration, and natural acidity create an environment where most bacteria and mold struggle to survive. When stored properly, pure honey can remain usable for many years, with virtually no loss in quality. But its shelf life is only half of its value. During times when your body is working harder, getting less sleep, or food supplies become limited, just one spoonful of honey can provide a fast-absorbing source of carbohydrates for quick energy. You can eat it straight from the jar, mix it with warm water, or pair it with peanut butter, bread, or oatmeal to create a simple but calorie-dense meal. Honey is also used in certain specialized medical products to help care for wounds because of its ability to maintain an environment that's unfavorable for many types of microorganisms. For a sore throat or a mild cough, a spoonful of honey is also commonly used by many families to help soothe the throat. It doesn't replace medicine, but it's one of the few foods that offers both nutritional value and a wide range of practical uses. Today, a 1-pound jar of raw honey in the United States typically costs between $6 and $9. Considering its shelf life and the number of uses it offers, it's one of the best investments on this list. If you're planning to buy honey for storage, choose raw honey or 100% pure honey instead of products blended with corn syrup or other sweeteners. There's one thing that many people don't realize until they've stored it for a few years. When they open the jar and see the honey has crystallized into a cloudy white color, they assume it's gone bad. In reality, crystallization is a completely natural process in pure honey. Simply place the jar in warm water for a few minutes, and it will gradually return to its liquid form with virtually no loss of its usefulness. Storing it is just as simple. Keep the lid tightly sealed, store it in a dry place, and keep it away from direct sunlight and high temperatures. Have you ever tried using honey on a minor wound instead of a standard medical bandage? Let us know in the comments below. 11. Powdered milk. On the first night after a prolonged power outage, what worries many parents the most isn't their own dinner. It's the moment they realize there's not a single glass of milk left in the house for the child who always drinks one before bed. That's also why powdered milk is one of the foods you should stock up on before the end of July. While everything is still easy to buy, you have the chance to prepare calmly instead of scrambling with everyone else later. When fresh milk disappears from refrigerated shelves because of power outages or supply chain disruptions, powdered milk can quickly become a nutritious source of milk with nothing more than clean water. It provides protein, calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12, nutrients that are especially important for children, older adults, and anyone living with limited food supplies. Beyond helping maintain strong bones, Calcium also plays a role in muscle function, the nervous system, and heart rhythm, while protein helps reduce muscle loss when meals are no longer well balanced. Another strength of powdered milk is its versatility. Besides mixing it to drink, you can also use it to make bread, pancakes, mashed potatoes, cream soups, or stir it into oatmeal to boost both protein and calories. Just one small bag of powdered milk can make several gallons of milk once reconstituted, saving a significant amount of storage space. Today, a package of non-fat dry milk in the United States typically costs around $15 to $25. If it's sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stored in a cool, dry place, it can maintain its quality for 10 to 20 years, far longer than fresh milk or most other dairy products. The most common mistake is choosing whole milk powder for long-term storage. Its higher fat content causes it to lose quality more quickly over time. If your priority is storing it for many years, non-fat dry milk is usually the choice preferred by experienced preppers. Once you open the package, divide it into Mylar bags or food-grade airtight containers. Add oxygen absorbers and store it in a dry place away from direct sunlight to maximize its shelf life. If you're planning to add powdered milk to your family's food supply, don't wait until demand starts rising. Preparing before the end of July is always easier and far more proactive than trying to find it after store shelves have already started emptying. You may never have to use that powdered milk, and that would be the best possible outcome. But if the day ever comes when your family truly needs it, you'll realize you didn't just prepare a few pounds of milk. You prepared peace of mind for the people you love most. Number 10. Canned tomatoes. Could you eat plates of plain white rice, dried beans, and canned meat over and over again for an entire month? A lot of people think they could, until they realize the reason they don't want to eat anymore isn't because they've run out of food. It's because every meal tastes exactly the same. It's called appetite fatigue, the gradual loss of appetite that happens when you're forced to eat an overly repetitive diet for a long period of time. And sometimes, just one can of tomatoes is enough to completely change that. Canned tomatoes don't just add flavor. Their natural acidity and built-in moisture make dry foods like beans, rice, and pasta much easier to eat. With just one can, you can make pasta sauce, cook soup, simmer beans, or create the base for dozens of different meals without needing many additional ingredients. Their nutritional value is just as impressive. Canned tomatoes are rich in lycopene, an antioxidant that your body actually absorbs better after tomatoes have been cooked. Along with vitamin C and many other nutrients, they provide a valuable source of nutrition when fresh vegetables are no longer easy to find for an extended period. Today, a can of tomatoes in the United States typically costs only about $1 to $2, making it one of the lowest cost foods with exceptionally high practical value. Most products maintain good quality for about 18 to 24 months, and often even longer if the can remains undamaged and is stored properly. However, it's also one of the foods that people store incorrectly most often. Because tomatoes are highly acidic, they shouldn't be stored indefinitely just because people assume canned food lasts forever. Check your supply regularly. Follow the FIFO principle, first in, first out, and replace older cans when needed. At the same time, avoid buying cans that are badly dented, bulging, or showing signs of leakage. If you're planning to add canned tomatoes to your family's food supply, do it while store shelves are still fully stocked and prices remain stable, rather than waiting until demand begins to surge. In an emergency food supply, sometimes what keeps your family eating well isn't having more food. It's simply having a little more flavor. Number 9. Salt. The cheapest item in your kitchen could also be the most important one. A box of salt costs less than $1. But during a prolonged power outage or when fresh food starts becoming scarce, it can determine whether your family's remaining food lasts for a few more days or a few more months. Salt has never been just a seasoning. It's an essential electrolyte that helps maintain the function of your nervous system, muscles, and heart. People can go without food for weeks, but if the body loses too much sodium while working in hot weather or during prolonged dehydration, the consequences can be severe. But that's only half of salt's value. Long before refrigeration, people relied on salt to preserve meat, fish, and many other foods for thousands of years. With the right amount of salt, you can preserve vegetables, make pickles, or extend the usable life of food before it spoils. If the power goes out for hours and your freezer starts thawing, this skill can significantly reduce the amount of food you have to throw away. Today, a large box of salt in the United States typically costs only about 75 cents to $2. While its shelf life is virtually unlimited if it's stored in a dry place and protected from moisture. It may be the lowest cost food with the longest storage life on this entire list. However, many people store it the wrong way. They only buy iodized salt. It's an excellent choice for everyday nutrition, but when used to preserve meat or vegetables over long periods, the iodine can affect the color and flavor of the food. That's why many experienced preppers keep both iodized salt for everyday use and kosher salt or sea salt for food preservation. And here's something worth paying attention to. Over the past few years, whenever major hurricanes, winter storms, or other extreme weather events have been forecast across many parts of the United States, people have rushed to supermarkets to buy basic essentials like water, batteries, canned food, and salt. Not because salt suddenly becomes rare, but because when millions of people start thinking about the same item at the same time, the inexpensive shelves empty much faster than most people expect. That's why you shouldn't wait until weather forecasts or emergency alerts start appearing before you begin preparing. A box of salt may be small, but sometimes it's the one thing that allows your entire emergency food supply to deliver its full value. Number 8. Olive oil. If the day ever comes when you're forced to live for weeks on nothing but rice, beans, and canned food, the first thing your body may run short of won't be protein. It will be fat. That's why olive oil is always part of the emergency food supply in so many families that take preparedness seriously. For thousands of years, people throughout the Mediterranean have considered olive oil one of their most valuable sources of energy. Not just because of its flavor, but because every gram of fat provides about 9 calories. More than twice as many as carbohydrates or protein. During periods of hard physical work or limited food supplies, it's an incredibly efficient source of energy. But the greatest value of olive oil isn't its calories. Without enough fat, your body has difficulty absorbing fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K. That means even if you've stocked plenty of canned vegetables, you won't get the full nutritional benefit from them without a source of fat to go with them. Olive oil is also one of the most versatile ingredients in the kitchen. You can cook with it, make sauces, dress salads, add flavor to pasta, beans, or soup. Beyond food, many families also use it to lubricate metal tools, moisturize dry, cracked skin, or fuel a simple oil lamp in an emergency. A large bottle of extra virgin olive oil in the United States currently costs about $10 to $20. When stored properly, it typically maintains its best quality for about 18 to 24 months. The most common mistake is keeping the bottle near a window, next to the stove, or on high shelves where temperatures stay warm. Light, heat, and air are the 3 biggest factors that cause olive oil to deteriorate quickly. Choose a dark glass bottle, Keep it tightly sealed after every use, and store it in a cool place away from direct sunlight. And here's something worth paying attention to. Over the past few years, major olive-growing regions such as Spain, Italy, and Greece have repeatedly been hit by extreme heat and drought. Lower harvests in these major producing regions have helped drive olive oil prices sharply higher on the global market. No one knows how prices will change over the coming months, but when a product depends so heavily on global weather conditions, preparing early is always easier than buying after prices have already gone up. Don't think of olive oil as just another bottle of cooking oil. Sometimes, it's the one thing that makes your entire emergency food supply more complete and far more valuable. Number 7. Flour. While millions of people out there may be lining up to buy the last few loaves of bread left on supermarket shelves, you can still make your own right in your kitchen. That's the difference between stockpiling food and stockpiling the ability to create food. Flour is the foundation of self-reliance. With nothing more than flour, water, a little salt, and cooking oil, you can make flatbread, tortillas, pancakes, biscuits, fresh pasta, or use it to thicken soups and stews. A simple bag of flour can produce dozens of meals at a much lower cost than buying processed foods. Besides being inexpensive, flour is also a source of carbohydrates that provide steady energy for everyday activities. When food supplies become limited, it's one of the most versatile ingredients you can keep in your emergency food supply. Today, a 10-pound bag of all-purpose flour in the United States typically costs about $5 to $10. If it's sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stored in a cool, dry place, white flour can maintain its quality for 8 to 10 years, far longer than whole wheat flour. And that's also the most common mistake. Many people choose whole wheat flour because they believe it's more nutritious. That's true for short-term use. But the natural oils in the wheat bran cause it to lose quality much more quickly during long-term storage. If your goal is to build a food supply that lasts for years, all-purpose flour is usually the more reliable choice. Another tip that many experienced preppers always follow is to place the bag of flour in the freezer for about 48 hours before packaging it for storage. This simple step helps reduce the risk of any insect eggs left in the flour developing during storage. And here's something worth paying attention to. Over the past few years, global wheat prices have repeatedly experienced major swings because of drought, extreme weather, and disruptions to exports from major producing countries. These fluctuations don't always cause prices to rise immediately, but they do highlight the reality that staple grains can change significantly in a short period of time. That's why many families choose to buy gradually while prices are still stable instead of waiting until supplies become uncertain or panic buying begins. A bag of flour won't make you rich, but the ability to make your own meals when everyone else has run out of options. That's its greatest value. Number 6. Peanut butter. You open a jar of peanut butter in a pitch-dark kitchen after hours without power. No stove, no microwave, no pot or pan. Just a spoon is enough to make a meal that helps you get through the hunger. That's why peanut butter has always been considered one of the most practical foods to keep in any emergency food supply. Inside one small jar is a combination of protein, healthy fats, and a very high number of calories. But what makes peanut butter special isn't just its calories. You can spread it on bread or crackers, mix it into oatmeal, pair it with honey, or use it to make homemade energy bars. A single jar can provide many quick meals at a very low cost. For many families with young children, it's also a familiar flavor that makes meals during stressful times a little more comforting. Today, a large jar of peanut butter in the United States typically costs about $4 to $8. Most commercially produced, unopened jars maintain good quality for about 18 to 24 months when stored in a cool, dry place away from high temperatures. The most common mistake is assuming every type is suitable for long-term storage. Many natural peanut butters and organic peanut butters don't contain stabilizers, so the natural oil separates and rises to the top over time. That doesn't mean the product has gone bad, but it usually needs to be stirred before use, and its shelf life after opening is typically shorter than that of traditional peanut butter. If the goal is long-term storage and emergency use, many families still prefer commercial brands because they're more stable. And here's something worth paying attention to. Over the past few years, extreme weather in several major peanut-growing regions of the United States, along with rising transportation and processing costs, has repeatedly caused peanut product prices to fluctuate. No one knows how prices will change over the coming months, but for a food that's both highly nutritious and has a long shelf life, buying while prices are still stable is always the more proactive choice. A jar of peanut butter won't solve every problem. Do you prefer creamy peanut butter or crunchy peanut butter for your emergency food supply? Number 5. Pasta. Whenever a major storm is forecast in the United States, one familiar thing always happens. The pasta aisle is often one of the first to start emptying. Not because pasta is a fancy meal, but because so many families know it's one of the most dependable foods to keep in storage. Dry pasta combines 3 qualities that very few other foods can match. It's inexpensive, stores for a long time, and is incredibly easy to prepare. Just a few minutes in boiling water gives you a hot meal that can be paired with canned tomatoes, beans, canned meat, olive oil, or whatever sauce you still have in the kitchen. Compared to many other grains, pasta also takes less time to cook, helping you conserve fuel when gas or electricity has to be used carefully. The value of pasta isn't just its convenience. It's also a source of carbohydrates that provides steady energy during days of hard work or when meals become simpler than usual. Even the pasta water can be saved to use as the base for soups or sauces instead of being poured out, helping you make the most of every ingredient. Today, a 1-pound box of semolina pasta in the United States typically costs about $1 to $2. If it's repackaged into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stored in a cool, dry place, pasta can maintain its quality for 10 to 15 years. If it's left in the manufacturer's paper box, its shelf life will be significantly shorter. The most common mistake is choosing egg noodles for long-term storage. The fat from the eggs makes them less stable than pasta made from 100% semolina wheat. Another common mistake is leaving pasta in its original paper box, making it more vulnerable to moisture, insects, and rodents than if it were properly repackaged. And here's something worth paying attention to. In recent years, from hurricanes across the southern United States to panic buying after emergency alerts, pasta has consistently been one of the foods that disappears from store shelves very quickly. Not because it's scarce, but because millions of people think of the same choice at the same time. That's also why many families prefer to prepare while store shelves are still fully stocked, instead of waiting until they're forced to grab the last few boxes left. A box of pasta won't change the entire crisis, but it can help your family's meals still feel familiar, even when everything else around you has changed. Number 4. Canned beans. A lot of people think that if you want to stockpile protein, you need to buy as much meat as possible. But in most emergency food supplies, the item you'll find the most is canned beans. Not because they taste better than meat, but because very few foods can provide so much value for just over $1. When fresh meat is no longer available, the freezer loses power, or cooking becomes difficult. Cans of black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, or chickpeas quickly become a dependable source of protein for the whole family. In addition to plant-based protein, Beans are also rich in fiber, iron, potassium, and folate, helping maintain energy, support digestion, and keep you feeling full longer. They're one of the few foods that's both highly nutritious and very inexpensive. What makes canned beans superior to dried beans is their convenience. You don't have to soak them overnight. You don't have to cook them for hours. You don't have to use extra clean water or fuel. Just open the can, and they're ready to eat or can be heated in just a few minutes. Even the liquid in the can can be saved for soup or used to thicken stews instead of being poured out. Today, a can of beans in the United States typically costs about 80 cents to $1.50. Most products maintain good quality for 3 to 5 years, and often even longer if the can remains undamaged and is stored properly. The most common mistake is storing canned food directly on the concrete floor of a basement or garage. Moisture that builds up over time can increase the risk of rust forming on the bottom of the cans. Instead, keep them on shelves or wooden pallets. Store them in a cool, dry place, and regularly inspect any cans that are badly dented, bulging, or leaking. That's also why many people choose to buy a little at a time, while prices are still stable instead of waiting until store shelves start emptying. A can of beans may not be the most exciting food in your kitchen, but when everything else gradually becomes scarce, it could be the thing that helps your whole family enjoy a complete meal and have the strength to make it through the next day. Number 3. Canned meat. The generator has been silent for hours. Inside the refrigerator that's slowly warming up, every tray of fresh meat has become a countdown clock. But in the corner of the kitchen cabinet, there's still one kind of meat that's completely unaffected by the power outage. Canned meat. That's why nearly every emergency food supply always has a place for Spam, tuna, salmon, or canned chicken. Unlike many other protein sources, canned meat provides complete protein, containing all of the essential amino acids in a single serving. When your body has to work harder or food supplies become limited, it's a reliable source of nutrition that helps maintain muscle mass, supports recovery, and keeps you feeling full longer. Just combine 1 can of meat with pasta, beans, or white rice, and you have a meal that's far more complete than eating starches alone. Today, most cans of Spam, tuna, or canned chicken in the United States typically cost about $2 to $6 each. When stored in a cool, dry place and the cans remain free of dents or leaks, most products maintain good quality for about 3 to 5 years, and often even longer if the packaging remains intact. There's one thing that many families don't realize until they've already stocked dozens of cans of meat. Not every product is suitable for eating every day over a long period. Many canned meats are fairly high in sodium. If they become the main part of your diet without enough clean water available, your body will require more water to stay properly balanced. That's why it's a good idea to combine regular products with low-sodium options and diversify your protein sources, from tuna and salmon to chicken and pork, instead of buying only one type. And here's something worth keeping an eye on. Over the past few years, livestock costs, animal feed, and transportation expenses in the United States have continued to fluctuate. While the nation's cattle herd has remained at low levels after years of drought in several states. As fresh meat prices come under upward pressure, processed meats and canned meats are often affected as well. No one knows how prices will change over the coming months, but preparing while supplies are still stable is always much easier than trying to buy after everyone else starts rushing to stock up. A can of meat will never replace your favorite dinner. But when the refrigerator stops working, it may become the most valuable meal in the entire house. Number 2. Emergency water supply. According to a well-known survival rule, people can go without food for weeks, but they can survive only a few days without clean water. And water isn't just for drinking. You need it to cook rice, boil pasta, mix powdered milk, maintain personal hygiene, and support the minimum living conditions for your entire family. Without water, even a food supply worth thousands of dollars quickly becomes useless. Today, emergency preparedness experts commonly recommend storing at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, just for basic drinking and cooking needs. Once you include personal hygiene, the amount of water you'll need becomes much higher. That's why more and more families are choosing dedicated water storage containers instead of simply buying a few cases of bottled water. A food-grade HDPE water container can safely store water for a very long time if it's properly cleaned, tightly sealed, and kept in a dry place away from direct sunlight. Water containers should be stored on shelves or wooden pallets rather than directly on concrete floors to reduce moisture exposure and make inspection and cleaning easier. There's one thing that many people don't realize until they've already bought a lot of water. Thin, single-use drinking water bottles are designed primarily for short-term consumption, not for storage over many years. If your goal is to build a long-term emergency water supply, dedicated storage containers are more durable, safer, and more cost-effective in the long run. And here's something worth paying attention to. In recent years, many parts of the United States have experienced prolonged heat waves, drought, broken water mains, or failures in municipal water systems that forced residents to line up for water or rely on bottled water for days. Whenever situations like these occur, drinking water is always one of the first items to disappear from supermarket shelves. No one wants that to happen where they live. But preparing while the water is still flowing is always much easier than trying to find water after the faucet has gone completely silent. Number 1. White rice. There's a reason why nearly every professional emergency food supply in the world starts with the same item. Not meat, not sauces, not canned food, but white rice. After everything you've seen in this video, from water, canned meat, peanut butter, and olive oil to canned tomatoes, almost all of it can be paired with one single ingredient. That's why white rice has always been considered the foundation of an entire emergency food supply. Not because it's perfect, but because no other food provides as many calories, as much shelf life, and as much practical value for such a low cost. A 50-pound bag of white rice in the United States typically costs about $20 to $35, yet it can provide tens of thousands of calories for an entire family. It's a source of carbohydrates that delivers steady energy and pairs with nearly every other food on this list. From beans, canned meat, and tuna, to olive oil and canned vegetables. What makes white rice the king of the emergency food supply is its shelf life. When sealed in Mylar bags with 2,000 cubic centimeters or larger oxygen absorbers, placed inside a 5-gallon food-grade bucket, and stored in a cool, dry place, white rice can maintain its quality for 25 to 30 years. That's a length of time that very few other common foods can match. But there's one thing that many people don't realize until they've already bought dozens of bags of rice. Not every type of rice is suitable for long-term storage. Brown rice contains more natural oils in its bran layer, so it tends to lose quality much more quickly over time. If your goal is to store food for many years, white rice remains the more stable and dependable choice. And here's something worth paying attention to. Over the past few years, the global rice market has repeatedly been affected by extreme weather, drought, and export restrictions from several major producing countries. These disruptions have driven rice prices sharply higher in many parts of the world and served as a reminder that even the most basic staple foods don't always have a stable supply. That's also why many families choose to buy a little at a time while prices are still reasonable, instead of waiting until the market begins to change. It's possible that after July comes to an end, nothing will happen. and that's what all of us hope for. But if the day ever comes when you open your food supply and see a bucket of rice that's still perfectly preserved after many years, you'll realize you didn't just stockpile a food, you stockpiled time. And sometimes, time is the most valuable thing a family can prepare for itself. It's entirely possible that after this July comes to an end, nothing major will happen. That's what all of us hope and pray for every single day. But just imagine this. If you ever wake up to an emergency alert on your phone, look out your window and see chaos unfolding in the long lines outside grocery stores. You'll walk into your kitchen, open your pantry, and realize your family already has enough water, enough food, and above all, enough time to stay calm and make smart decisions instead of panicking with the crowds outside. At that moment, every dollar you spent today and every bit of effort you put into packing those emergency supplies will instantly become one of the most worthwhile and proudest decisions you've ever made. Prepare today, while the skies are still blue and everything is still within your control.